Hello and welcome to Open Line. I'm Starlene Stringer. If caring for our four-footed friends is your passion, well, this edition of Open Line is for you. Corey Price and Dr. Kate McManus with Irving Animal Services and Michael Whiteside with the DFW Humane Society are guests, and we'll be talking about the things pet owners and prospective pet owners need to know. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. I know Irving Animal Services and the DFW Humane Society have a very unique relationship. So, Michael, can you tell us about how you guys all work together?
Sure. I mean, we share the same facility, and we work together mostly in, the animals that DFW Humane Society takes in. The majority of those come from City of Irving Animal Services. Dr. Seuss is one of those animals that had come in as a stray, and then was brought over to DFW Humane Society, and he's actually getting heartworm treatment right now. But that's kind of how we work together to make sure we get the best outcome for the pets that come into the shelter, whether they come in as a stray or an owner surrender, but then DFW Humane Society can work to pull those animals and help free up some space for Irving Animal Services.
So I have to ask, is this like a common thing with other cities, this type of relationship where the Humane Society works so closely?
I think in a lot of cities, nonprofit shelters do work closely with city shelters. It's rare that you have one that shares the same facility. I believe this is maybe one of 2 or 3 in the nation that shares a facility and has such a close relationship. But in every other city, their nonprofit shelters always work closely with their local city shelters to help rescue animals from the city shelters.
Interesting. And Corey, what else should our viewers know about the relationship with the Humane Society working with you all so closely?
The relationship started when the Irving Animal Care Campus was built, and we're coming up on 10 years at this facility, so it's been great. And during those 10 years, the relationship with DFW Humane Society has just been something that we know we can count on. And like Michael was saying, we're always out there picking up strays, working in the community, and having them on the campus as a partner with us, knowing that they're there to help and help us help these animals has really been beneficial, and I'm looking forward to the next 10 years, hopefully, of having that partnership in place with them.
It sounds like it's going great so far. Well, for those who've never been to the Irving Animal Care Campus, they may be surprised, just totally shocked by the animals you're actually able to adopt. So can you tell us about some of the unique animals you have?
Oh man, any kind of animal that needs help in our city can come through our facility. So we get the dogs and cats, but we also get guinea pigs, and right now we have lionhead rabbits, which have this mane sort of thing around their neck. But we've had goats, we've had chickens, we've even had some snakes, and recently this year we had a big fish, and I don't remember what kind of fish it was, Dr. Kate.
Oscar fish.
He was an Oscar fish
Aww.
from a cruelty case that we did. So if you can think of an animal that someone might keep as a pet, or even a livestock type farm animal, they probably come through the campus at some point.
And they're so cute. We were checking out video while you were telling us about that. Dr. Kate, I want to ask you about your work with the organization. I mean, how do you really help with the department's mission? I know it's very important.
Yeah, so I mean, every day we're caring for probably a couple hundred animals at the location. So we're making sure these animals are healthy and hopefully getting reunited with their owners. If not, we're making them healthy as they can be to be put up for adoption, to promote that human-animal bond within the city. And then one of our main duties at the shelter, as far as the veterinary team, is doing SpayNeuter surgery. So we make sure a lot of animals going back out into this community aren't able to reproduce, to try to keep that overpopulation burden down so we don't get more animals into the shelter in the future.
Makes sense. And so, Corey, how important is it to have a veterinarian as part of your staff?
It is. I would say the medical team and Dr. Kate is really at the heart of everything that we're doing in that building. So whether it's a stray animal or an owner surrendered animal, chances are they're going to come across Dr. Kate and her team pretty quickly. They do exams, they make sure the animals are doing okay. And it is amazing to me, in addition to the spay-neuter, the level of just kind of trauma that she has to stop what she's doing and deal with a dog that was hit by a car, or a cat that had an encounter with a dog. And so it's pretty amazing to watch that team do what they do to save as many of these animals as we can and give them a second shot that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So I can't imagine trying to run the shelter without a veterinarian, and specifically Dr. Kate. She does amazing things.
Yeah, she is amazing. I've seen stories and talked to her before. Pretty cool. Okay, of course, one of the major goals is to get these animals forever homes. So, Michael, can you walk us through the adoption process?
Sure. You really want to come out and meet the animals that we have in the shelter. They're all, they all show up on our respective websites.
I hate to interrupt you, but I feel so rude. I did not introduce Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is like, yes, me. So we're going to say Dr. Seuss is one of those animals. But now go ahead, tell us about the adoption process, because we're checking out the video.
Definitely. You can see the animals on the website, but we really want you to come out and meet them in person and make sure they may look like a good fit on paper, but when you meet them in person, it might not be. So we want you to come out and spend some time with the pets that you might be interested in, see all the pets that are available, and then staff and volunteers can help you talk to you about your lifestyle and whether the particular animal you're looking at would be a good fit for that, and kind of go through the whole process of helping you pick that perfect pet that's going to be with you for the rest of its life. It's a pretty simple process. You need to be 18. You need to have a valid ID to complete the adoption. So it's pretty simple once you find that pet that's going to work for you and your family.
I love it. We were seeing some video as people were adopting at Clear the Shelters, and I know that's always a big success for you all. Corey, I have to ask you, is there anything else that viewers need to know when it comes to the adoption process? Anything else they need to bring with them?
They don't need to bring anything else with them, but they just need to be prepared to kind of check out all the options and learn about the animals when they're visiting. Because like Michael was saying, really the goal is to make sure that the pet that we pair with that family and we match those two things up are going to be a good fit. And it happens, I will say, sometimes people adopt animals and it wasn't the fit they were expecting. And I will say that us, as well as DFW Humane Society, are always willing to work through that again and give it a different try or a different approach, because sometimes, you get them home and it's not quite what you expect. And that's okay. I think sometimes people feel guilty about that, and we don't want people to feel guilty. We will try it again, and we will try to find an animal that's going to be a good fit for their lifestyle and their situation.
Which is always great to know. Dr. Kate, something else people need to know is about their medical needs for their pets when they're adopting. So what exactly do they need to take away before they take that pet away from the center? What do they need to know?
So there's going to be ongoing care that needs to be provided. So depending on the age of the animal as well as the species, the care is going to be different. So, a puppy that's younger, under 12 weeks, is going to need ongoing vaccinations and stuff like that, whereas an older dog may be vaccinated and good to go as far as that for like a year. But they'll need ongoing heartworm prevention, flea prevention, and then always being prepared for some sort of, accident may happen is really important. Ongoing needs for buying food, toys, bedding, boarding maybe. So, you're not just done, unfortunately, when you get the pet, that there are ongoing needs that they're going to be responsible for.
Sure, there's a little more to it, and that's important to know before you leave the shelter.
Definitely.
So, Michael, the next question is for you, because I know a lot of people go, okay, we know that the people are benefiting who are adopting the pet, and the pet's benefiting by getting a forever home, but it really helps the whole community, doesn't it?
Definitely, because we have such a problem with pet overpopulation here in the area. So whenever someone adopts, it opens up some space for another animal that may need to come in, and gives us an opportunity to care for those pets. But it also just makes a difference in making these animals, giving them a second chance in life, because sometimes they have stories that we may not know. We don't know Dr. Seuss's backstory because he came in as a stray, but they do have a story, and you can help kind of continue that story by giving them a new home.
That's wonderful. Dr. Seuss, don't you go anywhere. We're going to talk to y'all guys in just a minute. But first, we'd like to share a video that ICTN producer Brett Wheeler put together about two of the shelter's recent success stories. You can really see the joy these pets bring to their families.
Here at the Irving Animal Care Campus, there are plenty of pets who are ready to be adopted. And with the help of Irving Animal Services and DFW Main Society, hundreds of them find loving homes each year.
To adopt a shelter pet is to really give them a new lease on life, because they kind of get back into an environment where they were before, where they feel loved and they feel comfortable and they feel at home. And so adopting a shelter pet is one of the best things you can do to really help the animals that we have here.
And for the many pets we have profiled for our segment, there are just as many success stories from people who have adopted from the Irving Animal Care Campus. like Craig and Cass. They added Jeffrey and Bear to their family during the Clear the Shelters event.
I was going to say that I was actually at a dress rehearsal tech week for the musical Cats, and it was clean out the shelter day. I texted Cass on one of my breaks and was like, "Did you get us a new cat? Haha." And she responded, "I got 2 cats." And I said, "Oh, very funny." And then when I came home, she was like, "No, I really have 2 cats." So.
Cats like Jeffrey and Bear are considered harder to place because they are bonded, meaning they've spent a long time together and have a very close relationship.
When it comes to a bonded pair, not everybody wants to take on 2 pets at the same time. So it's much harder when they're a bonded pair because you want to send them home together, but the adopter needs to be willing to take on twice the work pretty much in integrating 2 animals into their house.
They're 8 years old, they're a bonded pair. We can't find anyone who's willing to take both of them, and I thought, they'd be a good fit in our household.
Cass and Craig say it was an easy call for them to adopt Jeffrey and Bear, but it didn't come without some growing pains.
I'm gonna tell you, the first week was a little rough. Just 2 big cats in the household, and we had to work out where they were gonna hang, and so they have a safe place, and their favorite place is my office upstairs. And so I will come home having left neat little piles on my desk, and there'll be papers everywhere.
Cass and Craig feel the Irving Animal Care Campus is the perfect place to find a furry friend.
And the shelter in Irving is just such a unique and special place. Every time I go in there, it just touches my heart because it's such a nice place.
Another pet who's living his best life is a dog named Bo.
He's the softest ears.
From the moment that Bo came into the shelter, everybody fell in love with him. He was just a sweet dog. But then when our volunteer Brenda and her husband adopted him, we knew he was going to a great home.
Well, we decided to add a dog to our household. We already had one. And I told my husband about Bo, and he wanted to meet him, of course. And so we went down to the shelter, and he's like, "Well, what kind of dog is he?" You can't really tell just by looking. You can tell he's mixed. And a volunteer says, "He's a good dog."
At the time, Brenda and her husband had no idea how good of a dog Bo would actually be. But after a suggestion from a dog trainer, Brenda felt that Bo could do the most good as a therapy dog.
I didn't know much about therapy dog, and so I happened to meet a lady that her husband had a therapy dog. And so she told me about Linda Marler, who's in charge of the Baylor Therapy Dog Program. We arranged to meet, and they tested him. It's a very thorough temperament test. And we passed, and we've been coming to Baylor ever since.
We have close to right around 95 dogs in the program and 1 cat. I can't tell you how many times a day we walk out of a room and the patient says, "You made my day."
This is Bo. He'll give you a hug. He just loves people, and he loves coming to work. His Baylor uniform, when I get the bandana out, he gets so excited to come up here.
While Bo is having a good time at work, it isn't lost on Brenda that the patients get a lot from the experience as well.
Some of them get emotional. A lot of them miss their own dogs, and he has just provided them an outlet. They just always want him to come back.
Brenda says there are so many great pets like Bo at the Irving Animal Care Campus, all of whom just need a chance.
And every animal there could have a story like Bo. It might be a different route, but it's just loving, and they are just wonderful, wonderful animals, wonderful pets.
There's a personality type in dogs or cats for anybody out there. If you want a small, quiet dog that just wants to sit in your lap, we've got that. If you want a larger dog that's going to go running with you or going to go run around the backyard and chase toys, we've got that for you, and everything in between. The best thing you can do to help a shelter pet is to adopt and give them a home and give them a second chance in life.
That and a little love can go a long way. Brett Wheeler for City Source.
That was wonderful. And remember, you can tune in to City Source for news about available pets in Brett's Pet of the Week segment. Now, another success story, Corey, is something that's totally different than adoptions. For those who may not be ready to commit yet, you have the fostering program. Tell us about that.
The fostering program is great for people that aren't quite ready for that long-term commitment. We have lots of pets at the campus that need just a little extra TLC to get ready to be available for adoption, whether it's some sort of medical treatment that Dr. Kate's providing, or you know, just some time to settle in and settle down from a behavior perspective. They can go into someone's home just for a little bit to kind of get over or work with some of those things, or even if they're just underage. Underage kittens and puppies, they need to grow up a little bit before we put them up for adoption. So we use volunteers and foster families to do all of those things, and all of those volunteers truly help us give those pets a second chance.
Well, for someone who may be interested in doing that, how do they go about signing up?
It's super simple. You just need to call the Irving Animal Care Campus and we will get you connected with our volunteer coordinator, who will kind of walk you through the process and explain how everything works. And then when you're ready, get you partnered up with an animal in need, and she'll hold your hand and take care of you from there to make sure the process goes smoothly.
It sounds super simple, thank you. Now, Dr. Kate, a lot of people are familiar with microchipping these days, but there are going to be some new pet owners that may not be familiar with it, or potential pet owners. And so can you walk us through microchipping? Exactly what is it?
Sure. So a microchip is about the size of a grain of rice, and it's kind of like a glass-based product that is inserted under the skin. And what happens when an animal comes into a shelter or vet clinic, we use the scanner and it'll read the microchip and a number will pop up on that scanner. Based on the type of number it is, we know which company the chip belongs to, and then we call the company that created that chip, and they should have a registry where hopefully the animal has been registered, so that's a key part of microchipping. And then we can call the owner and say, hey, your pet is here. Unfortunately, it's not a GPS, so people always think it's like a low jack or a tracker system, and it's not. The animal has to be found and has to be scanned for the microchip to work. They are amazing, but they should be a secondary form of ID. Every pet should have a collar with a personalized tag saying their name and a phone number, because that's the fastest way to get your pet back home. And then the other big thing, because people move so much, change phone numbers so much, is making sure that microchip information is current. Because we get excited when we find a microchip, and then when it's a dead end, it's just heartbreaking for us, because we could have potentially returned that pet to their owner right away.
So what about people who don't get their pet through adoption from Irving Animal Care's campus? Can they still bring in their dog and have it microchipped?
Yes, we can do a microchip at the campus, and then their veterinarian and any of the there's a lot of low-cost vaccine clinics around. All of those opportunities to do microchipping exist. So there's no excuse to not have your pet microchipped.
I'm so glad that you brought up the low-cost vaccination clinics that you have. So Corey, can you tell us more about those?
Yeah, we do several a month typically, and we bring those opportunities to the Irving Animal Care campus so it's convenient for our residents. And so the first Wednesday and the fourth Friday of every month, there are low-cost vaccinations, microchipping, and wellness. And then there's also an opportunity to get low-cost SpayNeuter for those pets, but that does take an appointment that is scheduled in advance. But those SpayNeuter appointments actually happen at the Irving Animal Care campus too. So people can call ahead, make the appointment, and know when they're going to bring their pet in for SpayNeuter. Or if they're coming for the low-cost vaccines and microchipping, they just show up on those days to get that service provided.
That's very interesting. That's good to know, so people know not just to show up thinking, I'm getting it done today. Make your appointment in advance. So Dr. Kate, how important is it to have your pets spayed and neutered?
Oh my gosh. Yes, everything would be spayed and neutered if I could, but I believe it's a very important. All of my pets are spayed and neutered. So as far as your females, it lowers their risk of breast cancer. Pyometra, which is a uterine infection, is deadly and very expensive to do a spay at that point once they have an infection. So you really want to prevent that by taking the uterus out in the first place. And then as far as your males, I mean, I really do think it can impact behavior. One of the biggest things it impacts is roaming that we see with dogs. And I will say 99% of the dogs that we see hit by car are intact males that weren't neutered. So it really changes their behavior, and I think keeps them safer in that sense, as they're less likely to roam and get out and look for friends.
I look nicely said. And look for friends. I like how you say that. Okay, so I know you guys offer some wonderful programs too, and so Michael, we want to turn to you to get some information on those two in particular. If you could talk about Pets for Patriots and Seniors for Seniors.
Sure. With the Pets for Patriots program, we're a partner shelter with the organization Pets for Patriots. And what they do is they qualify active duty and retired military personnel. Once they're qualified, they can adopt a pet through a shelter partner. For us, it's a waived adoption fee. In addition, they get some discounts and coupons from Pets for Patriots, and they can also get access to discounted veterinary services through partners, veterinary partners of Pets for Patriots. So it's a great opportunity for active duty and retired military to get a companion animal. And through us, it's, like I said, no cost once they're qualified through the program. Seniors for Seniors, with the City of Irving animals, any pet that's over 5 can be adopted for free if the human is 65 or older. So it's a great opportunity to match some older pets, which are always going to be harder to place, with someone who may need a pet in their life to just take care of and give them some companionship as well.
That sounds wonderful. And you know what else I like is that you have an animal assistance fund. Can you tell us about that, Corey?
Sure. When lovely residents in our city are so generous, and a lot of them will donate through their water bill or even donate over the counter at the shelter, and we use that money to do things that isn't necessarily in the budget. So things like providing the heartworm treatment for heartworm positive dogs. We actually just took an animal to the veterinarian today to fix a broken leg. And so we use the Animal Assistance Fund and the money that's donated to pay for those things. Before we had the fund, a dog with a broken leg, you know, it was trying to find another organization or a rescue group to take care of that issue. And it's really nice for us at Irving Animal Services to have that fund available, and we can take care of it and get those animals into our foster program, give them a chance to get healed up, and place them up for adoption.
I love it. And I know, Michael, there are other ways that we can get involved and help out too, that you guys offer some really, really great fundraisers. Can you tell us about them?
We have a lot of fundraisers for DFW Main Society specifically. You know, we have a walkathon, we have a Black Collar Affair, which we just held recently, and then we just do general donations and fundraisers off and on throughout the year for both our general fund as well as our Guardian Angel Fund, which is similar to the Animal Assistance Fund. And helps us cover extraordinary medical costs, like Dr. Seuss's heartworm treatment is covered through the Guardian Angel Fund. But there's always opportunities to get involved, whether it's giving your time or your talent or your treasure. They all work for both organizations.
For sure. I'm glad you mentioned donating your time. And so I want to ask you about that, Corey. Volunteer opportunities. How do you get involved?
It's once again very simple. So just call the campus. You can volunteer on either side, Irving Animal Services or DFW Humane Society. And in either case, it starts with just getting to know what the person is interested in doing with us and trying to match up a job duty with that person's interest. And it can be something as simple as coming and brushing cats and giving dogs toys, or you can get into just about anything we do at the campus. We need help on every level with everything we do. So anybody who might be interested at all in volunteering, just give us a call and we'll get you started.
Wonderful. Michael, tell us about some more of the roles that volunteers participate in.
Gosh, there's so many things that they can do. They can help clean kennels in the morning when we're getting ready to open. They can help us with mobile events, so if we take dogs off site. Or they can just come in and hang out with pets and get them out in the yard and socialize them and work on training and trying to, you know, get some of those kennel behaviors that they've developed during their time in the shelter and work on those to get them to become more adoptable. There's really something for everyone at the shelter because everybody has different interests, different skill sets, and you know, it's really, a lot of people don't realize that there are just so many different things that you can do as a volunteer that will fit what you want to do and what you want to accomplish.
It's wonderful. And I want to come back to you, Dr. Kate, as we get ready to wrap up. Sure. What can animal lovers and pet owners do to keep their fur babies safe over the winter months?
Over the winter months. So, I mean, if it's too cold for you to be outside, I wouldn't keep your pets outside. So the biggest thing is keeping them indoors and keeping them protected from the elements, making sure they have access to fresh water that's not frozen if it's cold outside, and access to food as well, and good shelter. So being sheltered from the elements either in the house or an appropriate dog house or cat house outside. So we have a lot of community cats, or feral cats as people call them, and they also need shelter too. So if people are interested, they can make little cat shelters for them. Always making sure they're kept up on their heartworm and flea and tick prevention. So this weather is crazy and there's mosquitoes out. We were just talking already, and that's how heartworms are transmitted. So making sure they stay on those medications all year long. And then just keeping up with your veterinarian and making sure, recommend visits twice a year. They age a lot faster than we do. So just making sure that they're staying healthy and keeping up with everything that they need.
And this is like a personal question.
Sure.
So when you say if it's too cold for us, it's too cold for our pets. So when we get those cute little coats and costumes and boots and hats for our pets, dogs and cats, do they actually like them?
It probably depends on the animal, but I would say probably most of them just tolerate it for us. So it really depends. But some dogs really like booties, especially when it's snowy out or icy and stuff. So it really depends on the pet.
Okay, you just like broke up a fight in the family. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Husband like, do not put another coat on. And we're just about out of time, but we have not said exactly where the Animal Care Campus is located and what your operation hours are.
Sure. We are at 4140 Valley View Lane, and we're open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 6, and we're open on Saturday from 10 to 5. We are closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Wonderful. And Michael, what do you think that pet owners and pet lovers should take away from this about adopting and fostering animals?
I think that people should just understand that shelter animals can be some of the best pets that you've ever had. From my personal experience, a couple of the animals that I've adopted, I believe they were truly grateful for having the second chance. And I think that's what you get from shelter pets, because they've been in the environment where they're in a kennel a lot. They get home and they're getting lots of attention, and they become really grateful that you gave them that opportunity. So I think it's a great, instead of spending a couple $1,000s on a puppy, come out and meet some of the pets that might have the personality you're looking for, and give them a chance at home. And they're gonna make great companions for anybody.
I love it. And you can never have too many pets. Dr. Kate, how many do you have?
We won't talk about
That's
that.
what I thought. Thank you all so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. So much great information. If you'd like to learn more, just visit cityofirving.org/3265 and dfwhumane.com. Thank you so much again for watching. I'm Starlene Stringer. Be sure to join us in February for our next edition of Open Line. We'll see you then.